The hills, mountains and valleys of the Lake District are a huge draw to tourists from all over the world. But the reason they look like they do is that they've been grazed for centuries by the flocks of sheep of the local hill farmers. Hardy breeds such as the local Swaledale sheep.
It gets really cold and it gets really windy and wet. Like the cold, wet, driving wind, that's the worst that a sheep can have, and the Swaledales have a good coat of wool to protect themselves from it.
Farmers like Derek Scrimgeour of Lonscale Farm would be lost without the help of their trusty sheepdogs.
I'm a tenant farmer. My main job is a hill farmer. I have 800 sheep and they're on 1,500 acres, mostly just producing lambs to sell. And I breed some puppies, a limited amount of high quality puppies every year, and it's become quite a useful sideline to the farm.
Derek's daughter Rachel has been on the farm all her life and now is increasingly more involved in looking after the sheepdogs.
We've got our 5 main dogs which we use for farm work, and then we've always got breeding dogs here as well. That'll do, biddy biddy. Here, lie down. Away. But they're not here just for breeding. They get used on the farm and we train them as well. Lie down!
About 2 years ago, my daughter left school and she had to decide what to do with her career, and she decided to come and work on the farm and help me rather than go to university. And she's obviously interested in the dogs, so slowly but surely the dog side of the farm is going over to my daughter.
Lie down.
One of Rachel's dogs, Biddy, is about to give birth, so we've given Rachel a camera to capture the puppy's arrival.
It's actually in the daytime, which was unusual because normally dogs have puppies at night. But I went in there and she had 1 puppy.
It was soon joined by another one. Biddy was turning out to be a natural mother.
Luckily we were here. Normally we'd stay at home on the day they're supposed to have puppies just to make sure there's nothing that goes wrong. And she was a bit unsettled, so we thought we'd stay and just check, make sure that they were all okay and that she was doing a good job with them. Just had to help a couple of times, breaking the sacks when they came out so they didn't suffocate. It took probably about 4 hours for her to have them all. Yeah, she was good, she cleaned them all up and she's nice, she's happy with them now. She's doing good.
In total, Biddy gave birth to 5 puppies. Now the puppies are just 1 day old.
In this litter we've got 3 girls and 2 boys. They normally open their eyes at about 2.5 weeks old, and by 3 weeks their eyes will be fully opened, and then they'll start exploring. They don't normally start walking around until about 3.5 weeks. So this litter in here, these are a little bit older. They're about 4 weeks old now. And you can see they develop really quickly. I mean, I'll pick one up for you. Good girl. They're already a lot bigger and they've got their eyes open and they're much more active. And it's amazing how quickly they grow up, really. When they've opened their eyes and they start moving around, we'll start feeding them. And we feed them we get dry food and soak it in water and liquidize it so it's like a mush, and they like to eat that. Once they've started eating that, we'll feed them soaked food, but we won't mush it up anymore. So they actually start eating it and then they'll go on to dry food.
These puppies won't begin their training until they're 6 to 8 months old. And by the time they reach a year, the training will really intensify.
We train every day, not necessarily the same dogs, but we take them in turns, and we're doing farm work every day, so the main farm dogs get worked all the time. The younger dogs maybe once every other day, or if they're ready, every day. It just depends, really. Lie down! I like working on the farm, and I like having a dog that I've trained to a high standard that'll capable of running at sheepdog trials as well as doing farm work.
As if looking after all those sheep wasn't hard enough work, and training the dogs, Derek still finds time to travel the length of the UK to take part in his favourite pastime, sheepdog trials. Today, he's at his local show.
Personally, I love competing. I'm very competitive, but hopefully I'm not a bad loser. But the farming is the basis for it all, and it all was kind of meaningless for me if it wasn't attached to real life and farming. The sheepdogs are used for working sheep on the farm, and the sheepdog trials are just an extension of what we do on the farm.
Derek is one of Britain's leading sheepdog trials competitors, and Rachel hopes Biddy's puppies will be doing this too, a little over a year from now.
I've always enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying the fact that my daughter's interested in it and getting pleasure from it like I am.
Come by, come by.
I've got a dog now that'll be running in trials this winter. But yeah, I'd say it's kind of in the blood really.
In a year's time, Biddy's puppies will also become working sheepdogs. Join us in part 2 for more real British wildlife.